Okay, just another quick video. I'm still playing about with the sort of leak on the boot. It's a lot better. The main areas I've seen now, I've sort of brought it in tonight after it's been wet. The main areas I can see where it's dripping is from the spindle, the smaller one of the, not the driven one, not the brackety one. The smaller one, yeah, the one that's not sort of driven, that follows the other one. That pivot, you can sort of wiggle it a little bit, and that's where there was a couple of drips on that, and I wiped it and another drip come back. So I think it's coming down the shaft of that. I've seen one on eBay, so I think it's for a later one, but it looks like it's the same with new seals, and it says no play in the shaft, so it's probably just a bit worn out and it's just allowing a bit. So there's some coming in there, definitely. There was a bit more in this corner, but I sort of had a good look around the boot. It's hard to tell because you get condensation on the boot, but there was one bit where the window, where it looked damp. As soon as I opened it, it looked damp and like it was going to drip down this way. So it had kind of gone round the window. So I've dried that off and sealed that up. So I'm going to have a go with that. Hopefully that'll sort that out. As you can see, I've drilled a few holes. Not ideal, but I'd rather have a couple of holes in the boot and and it not steam up as much. And if any water does get, I'll get to the bottom of it. But in the time being, I'd rather sort of let any water drain out. I can always put grommets in them. I've put a new set of leads on. Main reason is the ones that were on, they were not bad, but one of them was sort of chafed through, and one connector was a bit rough. And I'd already taped it up, and I've changed the plugs as well. Had a look at the plugs. I can see. So they're a nice. It don't want to focus. Yeah. That one's white. Sort of blacky brown colour. You know. They're not black. They're not white, but they're just a bit brown and a bit black, which suits me fine, which I think is about right. So I'm going to leave the mixture as it is. One of them, which one it was? One of them was a little bit whiter, a little bit cleaner. Yeah, that one. That one was more grey. But that was a Dodger lead that had a sort of taped together end, so whether that's been misfiring at some point, I'll take that one out again in the future and just double check that it's a bit more blacker. If it's not, then I'll probably, it could be that injector's not playing up. It doesn't sound like it's missing. Once it's warmed up, it sounds pretty sweet. Yeah, the plugs I've got are the right ones with the ends that are already fixed on, which is right for this, I believe. I had to put the sort of these noggin bits on the distributor cap so I could put the new leads on there. But I've got to get a different lead for the coil because it's not the same. It's a pushing connection on one end and then a threaded connection like that on the distributor cap. So I've got to kind of change that or change the distributor. Might change the distributor. So I've done that. Also, I've realised the heater controls, so the little pod on the back of the engine where there's a sort of a flap that's got a vacuum on. I'd fixed that so the vacuum was pulling it. So my heaters have been working, but not particularly hot. But I've read up on it now and I realise, apparently, anybody correct me if I'm wrong, the vacuum turns it off. So when the car's running, if the heaters are off, there's a vacuum. It allows a vacuum and it pulls and keeps it closed. So if you do lose the vacuum at all, or there's a problem with the vacuum system, it automatically is on all the time, sort of to protect the engine, sort of cooling or whatever. So I've put that back as it was, with a vacuum pipe on, and took my cable tie off, and I'll see how hot the heaters get now. I did, it didn't work at first, and then I remembered there was a T-piece sort of on the engine bay that comes off the brake servo pipe, and there was also a T-piece, well, the three-way connector just coming off where the vacuum goes to the Doppel valve thing, the flap thing on the side of the engine, and they were both blanked off. So I've looked at that and I've sort of connected them, because that's obviously a vacuum feed for everything, and it comes off the servo vacuum. I've put that to the T-piece, and there's a black pipe going in and then a red pipe coming out, and once I did that, it worked. So I'm assuming possibly what's happened is they've tried to switch the heaters off or disconnect it or whatever when it was overheating, probably when the head gasket was gone. So to make it so the heaters stayed on, they've well, I don't know actually. Maybe they just couldn't work out how to work. Maybe they've kind of tried to bypass these. It looks like they blanked them off so the heaters weren't on. So the heaters were on all the time. That's it. So the heaters were on all the time, which is what you'd want if it was cooking itself a bit. So I put that vacuum pipe on. Everything else seems fine, and it seems to tick over and start up the same. I think one end of that might go to the cruise control, and the other end might go to the cruise control bit in the dash or whatever. I don't quite know, but there was no big leaks in any of the pipes when I sort of connected them up. And the other two pipes have been connected. It's only the one to the heater vacuum pod that I've connected, so the others were already connected. So hopefully I'll get a bit more heat, because like I say, in the mornings I'm struggling to sort of demist it. Obviously you got a bit of water in there, and you put the heaters on. If the heaters aren't dead hot, it doesn't clear the screen, and it doesn't sort of dry it out. So hopefully the heaters will work a bit better now. We'll have a go tomorrow. But I just thought, I'm still waiting for cylinder heads for my VW engine, so I thought, well, I'll sort that heater out, because that's going to help the car stay dry and keep me a bit warmer. And then while I got the air filter off, you've got to really take that off to do the back plugs. So I thought I'll do the plugs as well. And I thought, well, I've got the leads, I may as well put the leads on as well. So hopefully that's it. So yeah, I'm quite happy with the colour of the plugs. Like I say, I don't quite know why that one is. It's been firing. I don't think it looks a bit clean, that does. Looks a bit... It's hard to tell on the camera, but it does look sort of blacky brown. It's not completely white. So I think it has been firing. Maybe it's just not been firing that well, because that leader's dodgy. But I can't see its mixture problem, because all the rest are mint. All the rest are just a nice colour. So if there is a problem, it's either a valve issue on that cylinder, compression issue on that cylinder, which I don't think it is, because it doesn't feel lumpy. It's hard to tell with a V8 though. Or injector, that injector not giving enough fuel. But I think what I'll do is run it for a couple of weeks and then take that plug out again and have a look and see if that plug is still white like that. Well, not white, but grey rather than brown. I mean, I think grey. They say grey brown is right. I've always gone on the assumption that if they're a little bit black and brown, they're about right. I don't want it to be too lean. Maybe that one's running better. I don't know. But these are the plugs that were in it. These are sort of NGKRs. I just got my local place. They got me some Bosch ones. The right Bosch ones that are right for it. I think these are probably decent plugs. These were new when I got it, but I don't know how old they are. They look new. I don't know how old the plugs are. I'll probably just keep these as spares. You never know. It's always handy to have another plug to chuck in. Right, it's time to go home. If you're enjoying the vid, subscribe. Give me some likes. I'm enjoying driving it all the more at the moment. I did give it a bit of welly down, a bit of bypass where there was a few nice roundabouts to go through, and it's horrible over the bumps, because I think the dampers are a bit knackered. But around the windy, twisty roads and round roundabouts and stuff, like S-shaped roundabouts, chicane sort of thing, it does handle really nice. It does feel nice and good. So Yeah, we'll do another video when I'm on it a bit more, but I'm hoping the boot's nearly there now. I'm not expecting perfection, but I think if I do that wiper spindle, then I'll probably leave it at that. As long as it's not filling up like it was before, I think I would probably just leave it at that and put it back together. You know, it's got some drain holes in now, and if the heaters are working a bit better, I don't think it'll be too much of an issue. Okay, see you next time.